So you think you know Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen, right? And I suppose Henry VIII was a devoted family man? The story you probably know is, well, it's a nice fairy tale. Today, we're going to get into the real story, a brutal, brilliant, and absolutely ruthless masterclass in how to survive and hold on to power.
Okay, let's put you in her shoes. Imagine you're born, and the very first reaction from your father, who happens to be the most powerful and frankly terrifying man in the country, is just crushing disappointment. I mean, he literally broke with the Catholic Church, blew up his marriage, and risked his entire reputation for a son, and he got you, a girl. This isn't just, a rough start. In this world, that's basically a death sentence waiting for a signature.
So your childhood? Yeah, it's less of a childhood and more of a high-stakes training ground for survival. Your very existence is a constant, nagging reminder of your mother's failure to produce a male heir. And in Henry VIII's court, failure isn't something you get a bad grade for. It's a capital offense.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It is pure chaos. By the time you're 3 years old, your own mother, Anne Boleyn, has her head chopped off. You're then officially stamped illegitimate. Basically, you're just royal furniture with a pulse. You somehow survive your brother's radical reign, and then your own sister, Bloody Mary, throws you into the Tower of London, convinced you're plotting against her. Every single day is a potential trip to the chopping block. And then, against all odds, you're the one who ends up on the throne.
This right here, this was your education. You spent your youth watching marriages and alliances crumble into betrayal and bloodshed. You learned, real fast, that love and affection are tools people use against you. Power, that's what keeps you alive. These weren't abstract ideas you read about in some dusty old book. These were lessons written in the blood of people you knew.
So, congratulations, you're crowned queen. And what's the first thing on the agenda? Your womb. It instantly becomes a matter of national security. The pressure is just immense. Get married, pop out an heir, and secure the dynasty. Every single king and duke across Europe looks at you and doesn't see a monarch. They see a prize to be won.
And this is where your genius for the game really shines. You don't just reject them. You turn courtship into a political weapon. Philip of Spain, who was married to your dead sister, yeah, you politely ghost him. Eric of Sweden, you string him along for so long he literally goes insane. And Archduke Charles of Austria, you bury him in so many tiny, insignificant details and negotiations that he just gets exhausted and gives up. You play their game, and you play it better than any of them.
And this becomes your PR masterpiece. I am married to England. It sounds so poetic, so selfless, right? But what it really means is I'm in charge. By refusing to marry anyone, you keep England from falling under foreign influence, you keep all your potential rivals guessing, and most importantly, you keep every last shred of power for yourself. It's brilliant.
So, while you're busy juggling every eligible bachelor in Europe, the most dangerous threat to your crown isn't some foreign king. Nope, it's your own cousin, right there on the same island, Mary, Queen of Scots.
This chart really tells you everything you need to know. You are the anti-Mary. You're cautious and calculating. She's impulsive and driven by emotion. You turn your unmarried status into a weapon. She flaunts her ability to have sons as a direct claim to your throne. So when she makes a series of disastrous choices and flees to England begging for your help, you see the threat for what it is. And you do what has to be done. You lock her up.
19 years. Let that sink in. For almost 2 decades, Mary is a prisoner in England, and she becomes a magnet for every plot, every rebellion, every single assassination attempt against you. She is the living, breathing symbol of hope for anyone who wants to see you dead. And after dozens of plots, you finally realize you can't just keep her locked up forever. You sign the death warrant.
Well, executing a Catholic queen is pretty much the last straw for Catholic Europe. And your old suitor, Philip II of Spain, decides it's finally time to take you off the board for good. He's coming for your throne, and he's bringing the biggest, baddest naval fleet the world has ever seen.
Just look at that number. 130 warships, packed to the brim with thousands of Europe's best soldiers, all sent with one single goal: invade your country and destroy you. They called it the Invincible Armada. By all rights, you should be terrified. You should lose.
But you don't hide. Instead, you ride out to your troops at Tilbury wearing a suit of armor and you deliver this line. This isn't just a pretty speech. This is a battle cry. It's a queen who has survived everything, telling her people and the world that she will not back down. You turn an entire nation's fear into pure defiance.
And the craziest part? You win. Through a mix of clever English naval tactics, some seriously destructive fire ships, and a massive storm that everyone calls the Protestant wind, the invincible armada is shattered. It doesn't just fail, it's humiliated. You haven't just defended England, you have stared down the greatest power in Europe and made them blink. You are no longer just a queen, you're a living legend. You're untouchable.
But here's the problem with becoming a legend. Legends aren't supposed to get old. They're not supposed to get sick or weak. And your victory over Spain, in a way, marks the beginning of a long, slow, and deeply paranoid final act. Your court becomes this bizarre, suffocating theater of flattery. As your body starts to fail, the praise for your timeless beauty and youth only gets louder and more ridiculous. Telling the truth about your age in your court is a career-ending move, maybe worse. You are surrounded by liars because you demand to be.
But here's the reality behind all those flattering portraits. Smallpox has left your face scarred. Your famous red hair is mostly gone, hidden under elaborate wigs. Your teeth are black and rotten from your love of sugar. And you kick your face in a thick, white, lead-based makeup that was literally poisoning you. The Virgin Queen, the living legend, is an illusion held together by paint and fear.
And then comes the Earl of Essex, your last great favorite. After completely messing up a military campaign in Ireland, he does the one thing nobody is ever allowed to do. He storms into your private chambers before you're ready, before the wig, before the makeup. He sees the old woman, not the carefully constructed goddess, and you do not forgive humiliation. His little rebellion after that, it ends exactly where you'd expect, on the executioner's block.
After Essex is executed, something seems to break. The court feels empty. You're old, you're isolated, you trust no one. You are completely exhausted. But you have one final move left. You refuse, until your very last breath, to name who will succeed you. You will control England until the very end.
You know, history calls this the Golden Age. And yeah, sure, Shakespeare's writing masterpieces, and guys like Francis Drake are basically state-sponsored pirates making the country rich. But let's be real. It's an age built on a foundation of paranoia and constant stress. It's a time when having black, decaying teeth is actually a status symbol, because it means you can afford sugar.
And then, in 1603, at 70 years old, you finally die. No husband, no children. 45 years on the throne, refusing to bend, refusing to break. You outlasted every single enemy and rival. And in one last savage twist of historical irony, who does your crown pass to? James, the son of Mary Queen of Scots, the son of the woman you had executed all those years ago.
So in the end, your whole life was a masterclass in turning every disadvantage into a weapon. You were born a disappointment, so you refused to play the game by their rules. They wanted to trap you in a marriage, so you turned your virginity into a shield and a diplomatic tool. They expected a weak, feeble woman, and you gave them the heart and stomach of a king. You didn't just survive, you won.
She was brilliant, she was ruthless, and she was absolutely terrifying. Which really only leaves one question, doesn't it? If you were dropped into her court, you think you would have made it out alive?